Oh, hello there. Welcome to paradise. Well, today is going to be a special one because we are playing a classic. Today's grind is going to consist of tropical gunfights, hunting the rarest animals known to man, and most importantly, a little bit of insanity. Folks, you know exactly what game we're covering today, as it is finally time for... Oh, bloody hell. Well, from completing the main campaign, a copious amount of side missions, and an absolute plethora of collectibles, we definitely have a lot to do today, folks, so let's crack on and waste no time in doing it. Welcome to the Achievement Grind. The game begins with some fun. Jason's with his friends and family and they're enjoying their holiday as best as they can. Drinking, skydiving, getting captured by Vas, you know, the typical stuff. Here we are immediately thrown into the game as it's time to escape with our brother. The journey out of this camp begins well, until it doesn't, and we see our brother get a rather trendy neck bullet from Vas, and we sprint into the jungle. The night only gets worse for Jason though, as during our escape we become a certified throat stabber for the very first time. On the verge of escape, however, the bridge collapses and we plummet into the water below, before getting saved by an arm. Honestly, a pretty damn good start to a game if ever I've seen one. Finally, some good news for Jason though, as with this we unlock our first trophy, First Blood. Waking up in a hut, we then meet our saviour, a rather nice man called Dennis, and he's not a crazy loyalist or anything. No, he's a tattoo artist, as he has given us some fancy new ink and a machete. Not bad for free. Anyway, Dennis is one of the good guys who wants to end Vaz's reign on the island and bring it back to the peace like it once was. Our first mission helps exactly that, as around the map are radio towers that Vas has overtaken. We just have to climb them and then take control of them again. Dennis then also informs us what the tattoo is. It's essentially a skill tree. With every upgrade we earn for Jason, a new patch of ink will appear. The most pressing matter right now though is where the rest of our friends and family are. We need to save them all, and when we accidentally hear over a radio where our girlfriend Lisa is, we head straight there. When we arrive, it is now time to liberate our first outpost and properly shoot some stuff for the first time. And however much I would love to say that this game holds up well, I'm afraid it doesn't. The controls are incredibly clunky. Noticeably so, and you feel this the most when you are either shooting or driving. Unfortunately, both of those are really key to the gameplay, but more on that later. We clear the outpost and very conveniently overhear again that she's escaped and is on the loose, so we'll have to work harder to find her in time. Dennis then also immediately tells us that another friend has been found and is safe at a doctor that lives on the island, so we can go and see them whenever really. Once again, how lucky! Now before we can go and make sure our friend is safe and sound, we have some side tasks to do first, namely murder. When you liberate an outpost, you'll have access to the mission board. On here is bounties on humans, rare animals, and also driving minigames. And we get a trophy for completing one of each kind, so that's what I wanted to tackle next. The first is road trip. We have to drive from one checkpoint to the other before time runs out. As simple as you could possibly make it. Again, if the driving wasn't so scuffed. Yeah, it took us some time to get used to it, but eventually we made it in time and unlocked road trip. The next is In Cold Blood. These are wanted dead quests where you have to kill a particular enemy with your knife. Honestly, they are as easy as they get. You find the target, give them a couple of strikes with the blade, and easily done for In Cold Blood. The final side mission is Bagged and Tagged. Here we just have to kill a particular animal with a particular weapon, and once done, Bag and Tagged unlocks. Definitely 3 easy trophies, however let's have a couple more before we carry on. By this time we had done our first couple of missions and also grinded some better equipment for us. Eventually we hit level 5, and when we pick our 5th skill we unlock Inked Up. From this we also upgrade our equipment the same 5 times and unlocked Artsy Craftsy. Not bad for a few hours, not bad at all. However, I think it's time to go and save Daisy, because it isn't exactly a ringing endorsement that we are choosing to hunt animals over saving our friend, so might as well go save our friend. We eventually find the doctor's house, and it is clear that he enjoys the odd drug or two, as his entire greenhouse is just dedicated to coming up with bizarre hallucinogens. In an ironic step though, we need to rely on these drugs to save our friend's life, as Daisy is not doing well on what she currently has. The doctor needs something special, and it is a certain type of mushroom that grows close by. As you might expect, we have to go and grab it. It's an easy enough mission once again, as the cave is right below his house. The only interesting thing to note here is that we trip balls for a little while doing so, but that's kind of a theme in this game, and it happens a lot. So we grab the mushroom, get back, and thankfully it does the trick. Daisy is pretty much herself again, which is great I suppose, as we're rewarded with Magic Mushroom. For the next achievement, Hunter Hunted, we just have to simply kill a predator. And yeah, I think I'm just going to let the clip speak for itself. Alright. Okay. Yeah, expertly done, I must say, but for that, we did unlock the trophy. But we still have a couple more trophies to go yet, folks, as recently we unlocked the bow, and now we need to get a kill with it whilst the enemy is over 70 meters away. So for the very first time, we loaded an arrow and absolutely nailed it without question, easily done, and we unlocked Toxopholite. Now at this point, we were absolutely bringing in the trophies, and there was no reason to stop, so let's get a couple more, starting with another easy one, with improper use. For this, we must get a kill with a repair tool. Not the best offensive weapon, but we still get the job done and easily unlock it. By this point, I had also unlocked some decent silent weapons, so we decided that Unheard should be the next, for liberating one without an alarm triggering. Honestly, you don't even need stealth for this, just break the alarms and go mental. However, I love stealth, so with a sniper and a bow, we rid this camp of filthy pirate swine, and Unheard unlocks. The next two trophies were also unlocked 10 minutes later. The next was fulfilling our journal with 50 entries. You do this by killing new enemies and animals, as well as finding plants and such like that, and that's where we unlocked it. After picking a plant, we get our 50th and gain Jungle Journal. The next was, surprise surprise, for liberating yet another outpost. With it being our third in total, we rid it of the pirate scum we mentioned earlier and unlocked Rebel with a Cause. Anyway, enough stalling, we've saved Daisy now, it is time to save our girlfriend Lisa. So after getting information on her whereabouts, we head straight to the outpost to save her. After fighting our way through room upon room of goon, we eventually do in fact reach her. Well, a recording of her, and for finding this we receive the reward of being knocked out. When we come round, Vars is once again here to greet us. He gives us a wonderful monologue which seems to be his specialty, before immediately lighting us on fire. Or that was his plan, but through sheer determination and, let's face it, more luck, the floor collapses and we both get our daring escape. Once we've left the Temple of Doom, we speed away together, Lisa driving and we of course gunning down those that dare chase. With the mission complete, Lisa goes to meet up with Daisy and we unlock Worst Date Ever. You'll be amazed to know that, folks, that after we save our girlfriend, we're in the mood to grind some more trophies. And the next came only minutes later. On top of this hill is a glider. We use said glider and once above the ocean decide that it's not for us, and for falling over 100 meters and landing in the drink, we unlock Freefall. The next is Money to Burn, and it's another fairly simple one. We just need to spend 5 grand at the village shops around the world, something that we've been doing of course since the start of the game, so once we hit $5,000 spent, we unlock Money to Burn. And it's time for the final trophy before cracking on with the main missions again. For this one, we need to hunt and skin a rare animal. Easy enough to do when they are all over the mission boards. We need to hunt a black panther with a bow. Nice. I'd like to think I'm pretty decent with the bow, so we find our Chadwick on the beach and begin to rattle him up. With the final stick it goes down, we skin it and unlock Poacher. It is time for the next level in friendship, as Vars is becoming a certainly difficult nut to crack. So Dennis, knowing this, takes us to meet his friend Citra, who is the leader of a warrior tribe and who also is in a fight with Vars to control over the island. And you know what they say, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. We first, though, must prove ourselves. Apparently, we once again need to trip balls to be able to do so. In this vision, we see a man in a white suit as well as a couple more strangers along the way. At the end of this voyage to Trip Out City, we come across a special knife. When we pick it up, we sober up and tell Dennis our dreams. Ironically enough, though, this is the exact knife that Citra wants, so that's what we need to get, by hopefully finding the man in white that we also saw in our dream. Jesus, that's luckier than you might think. So apparently during another hallucination scene during this game, we found the exact knife that Citra wanted, but not only that, we hallucinated the clothes that the stranger was wearing that we haven't met, that we need to go and meet to try and talk to find out where the knife is. Alright, yeah, sure, why not? But I suppose I'll let it go because you did give us the trophy, one of us, so sure, we're even. For now, I just wanted to carry on with the campaign for a little bit, but in the coming missions we also unlocked a couple more miscellaneous trophies. Honestly, this game pretty generously chucks them at you, and Far Cry 3 is not the longest grind. So if you think that I'm unlocking them really quickly, it's kind of because I am. So on that, the next trophy that we get is for killing 4 enemies with a single explosion, and we got this in possibly the best mission in the game. We eventually track down the man in white, and he turns out to be Willis Huntley, a CIA operative. He's here to track and kill the leader of the pirate organization, and by that I mean Vars's boss, Hoyt, but more on him later. For now though, he just wants us to disrupt their business, so he sends us to burn a broccoli farm. With a flamethrower in hand, we begin to torch the herbal essences to one of the most amazing song in game soundtrack history, which is licensed so I can't play it, but you know which one I mean. Now this mission is just one of the best in the game without question. It goes unbelievably hard. But as I said, here we find 4 unlucky fools that felt best huddled together. We showed them that it was in fact a stupid idea, as when we blow them all up with one device, we unlock Love the Boom. When the herb is nicely roasted and toasted, we head back to Willis to tell him of the job well done. He then pays us with some audio between Hoyt and Vass, and it's not good. They very much want to kill me, rather quickly, so why not, let them try. But we also overhear a prisoner manifest being mentioned, so we can use that to find Oliver. However, not before we get our next trophy, of course, as after that mission we went shopping and bought every single camo and attachment for a weapon, unlocking Aftermarket Junkie. Oh, we're at that point again, folks, however, as we have a couple more side trophies to quickly discuss before moving on with the main campaign. The next trophy we got was another simple one. We unlocked it when we activated our 9th radio tower, as with that 9 we unlock full bars. Fearless or Stupid is again another hilariously easy trophy. In fact, I unlocked it by accident, as in the ocean I saw some treasure. We headed down to grab said treasure and apparently went deeper than 60 meters, unlocking Fearless or Stupid. And immediately afterwards we also crafted our 25th syringe in total, and you'll be amazed to know that it unlocks yet another trophy with Needle Exchange. The final one before we head into the next mission is for using our camera to tag 25 enemies. Now this is handy for taking over bases, but you'll probably just get this accidentally going through the campaign as I did, as apparently we took our 25th Instagram post of this beautiful island and unlocked Island Paparazzi. Now going to find the manifest, we have our first encounter with Hoyt. Well, in a way. He's killing people in his typical ruthless, insane manner, and we being the hero we are go to help the survivors that's left. We save our new bestie Rongo and go to fight back. It doesn't take long at all and the mission is complete, however thankfully we now know where Oliver is, so we race to save him. A battle of course ensues where we must defend Oliver as he makes his escape from the pirates. Since we are a phenomenal sniper, it doesn't take us long and we are soon on a boat making yet another daring escape. That will no doubt slightly annoy Vass. Vass's annoyance aside though, for rescuing another friend of ours, we complete the mission and unlock Hands Off My Stoner. To carry on rescuing our friend though, we need to find another stranger, one who has another of our friends hostage and apparently knows where Citra's knife is. So as you'd imagine, we need to do some favours for him to get what we want. Now unfortunately in my eyes, this is where the game starts to take as what I call its filler content space up. Basically for the next 2 or 3 hours we have to go into caves and search for a particular trinket that when combined with all of the pieces that we find will hopefully unlock a gate that will allow us to get to the knife. Now unfortunately getting these trinket parts is so repetitive and boring that there's really nothing much to talk about throughout any of it. Oh, and speaking of boring, hopefully you're not finding this video boring, and if you are not, maybe it is the perfect time to like, comment and subscribe. I would very much appreciate it and it really does help me out more than you know. But anyway, back to the regularly scheduled programming. The game has a fairly repetitive vibe as it is. The entire game is either shoot animals or shoot men dressed in red or yellow, and that's every mission in the game. So here is where I really felt it the most, as this was just boring filler. However, we need to do it, so over the next 2 hours we completed these missions and slowly pieced the trinket together. It's not all bad news however though, as in one of these missions we unlock our next trophy. We just have to kill 50 people with the flamethrower. Now that bush burning mission certainly helped, so it didn't take us long to get the rest and unlock Heartless Pyro. Another hour later we are finally at the end of this fetch quest, as with this trinket complete we can now open the door to an abandoned civilization and get the knife that so many people are after. With it finally in our hands though, we go drop it off with Buck for Keith's freedom. But like any good game, Buck of course betrays us. Shocking, I know. So we grab a knife of our own and go to put this deer down. A cool shot of course, but a couple of quick time events later, Buck is dead, Keith is free, and we even have the knife again. So everybody wins, I guess. With Buck dead and Keith safe, we then unlock the next trophy, Retake Wall Street. Now there's only one more person to save, our younger brother Riley. His whereabouts are still unknown, so we decide to ask Citra for help again, since we now have the knife that she wanted and listen to a history lesson on the island. With this gift, Citra says that Riley is part of a convoy that they plan to attack, so if we help with this attack we can find our brother and thankfully finally leave this island for good. As you would imagine though, it doesn't go as smooth as you'd think.
Hey Jason, you miss me?
When we wake up again, we get one of the most iconic cutscenes in the history of gaming.
Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?
Vass is honestly phenomenal, even as he goes to kill us for the 3rd or 4th time. And just like the last few times that came before, we don't die and once again escape. Unfortunately for us though, Vass had a feeling that we'd escape again, and shoots down the helicopter that we're leaving with. Finally fed up with our meddling, he just outright shoots us now.
Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity.
And folks, you will be very pleased and surprised to know that once again Jason has not died. Somehow when Vas shot Jason, it hit a lighter which then didn't kill him. But if that was the case, wouldn't Vas notice that there was no blood? Signs of life? I'd be a bit more thorough. With the mission complete, we unlock Have I Told You? And honestly, I've got to mention again how amazing that monologue was, as well as how phenomenal Vaz is as an antagonist. Absolute 10 out of 10. We head back to Citra for more help, and once again are forced to trip balls and fight a shadow demon to prove our warrior status to Citra or something. And honestly, I think it went well. Oh god, Really well. Really well. Interestingly enough, after poking Citra, we all of a sudden become a warrior that gives speeches to the rest of the followers. This also apparently gives us the courage to finally take Vas on mano a mano, who we also find out is actually Citra's brother, and who was meant to be the warrior that we have become before Hoyt corrupted him with drugs and money. So, alright, let's just go kill him, I guess. Well, we say that, but he once again gets the drop on us and stabs us rather nastily. Once again, this doesn't kill Jason, and once again, he trips balls. Who would imagine? At the end of this ball tripping scene though, we have another QTE in which we stab Vas and he's finally dead? Or is he? With that, we also unlock Taken for Granted. Vas is dead and all of our friends are saved, so it's time to go home. Oh wait, no it isn't, because during this time Jason found out that unfortunately his brother Riley had been killed. So now it's casually time to take on Hoyt and to be the biggest warrior that Citra wants us to be. I mean, that doesn't make any sense, but sure, why not? Now, to get to Hoyt, we must be sneaky, as his base is on another remote island and we need to use a wingsuit to get to it undetected. Honestly, the wingsuit in this game is phenomenal and so helpful for moving around. But for using it for the first time and making it to Hoyt's island, we also unlock the trophy Higher Than a Kite. Willis also thankfully was able to get help, as on this island is a bald man, and this bald man is our ticket for getting into Hoyt's compound and within shanking distance. Together we complete a couple more missions where we break Hoyt's control a little bit more and sneak into the complex with a disguise to hear the man speak about how much he hates us. During these missions, of course, as well, we unlock another trophy. This one is for killing an enemy from above after jumping off a zipline. Definitely a little harder to do, as the right moment doesn't happen often, but it did for us eventually, and we unlocked Never Saw It Coming. But the hard work has paid off, and thanks to the bald man's help, we finally proved ourselves to Hoyt. We have a meeting where he thanks me for the help, and it turns out that Hoyt is the exact same as Vas. Just crazy and does stuff to be an edgelord. It's a bit weird killing Vas off to replace him with a shittier version of him, but sure, why not? Our next task, however, is a true test for Hoyt, as we have to interrogate a prisoner to find out some information about him, as apparently he isn't speaking much. Easily done. Or it would be if it wasn't Riley. Yes, of course, Riley was alive and well the whole time. Actually, not well, but he is alive. Time to interrogate my brother. Jason starts to interrogate him, and thankfully Riley smells what he sells, and keeps the facade up whilst Baldy Boy freezes the camera. We quickly have a reunion, come up with a plan, and leave him alone. But since we got Riley to announce his name, Hoyt is as happy as Larry. So much so that he invites us and Sam to join him for some poker. With the interrogation a renowned success, we, as you may imagine, also unlock Deep Cover. Folks, we're actually fairly close to the end of the game now, so let's skip straight to the poker night. And having played poker most of my life, I think I've got a pretty good chance here. So the first hand is played out, and through extraordinary luck, me and Hoyt have the exact same cards, and Sam loses. His life? Yes, of course, Hoyt knew all along that we were Jason and Sam was helping us, hence Sam's new trendy neck knife as well. The opportunity is now and ever though. We arm ourselves and have yet another QTE with Hoyt, and exactly 30 seconds later we also stab him and unlock Poker Night. With that though folks, the island is free and beautiful, and we're free to— oh wait, bugger no, we need to rescue Riley now. So we sprint to the airfield where he's about to be sold and destroy everything in our path, freeing him once again. With Riley free, it's time for the final escape, and luckily Riley just so happens to know how to fly a chopper, because of course he does. So we take to the air and finally everybody is safe. Oh wait, no they're not, because the safe house is on fire and totally destroyed. Someone has even killed the good doctor after all he did. So we race to Citra's temple to find out what's been happening, and for the sodding Billy the time, we're really drugged again. Oh, can we just... Yeah, right, cool. So Citra drugs us again, saying that we're ready for the final tattoo that will make me the ultimate warrior of the island, which I thought I'd already done. Blade in hand, we reach the end goal, but once we pick it up, we snap out of it, and are on the verge of killing Lisa and all of our friends. We throw the knife back to Citra, and she begs me to stay, saying how much she loves us. Dennis the simp then arrives. Now, throughout this time, you can tell that Dennis has really been jealous over how much affection Citra's been paying us, and he goes to stab me for the disrespect of rejecting her. Citra, being the total legend that she is though, takes the blade for us and then just dies. Dennis takes it well.
Whoops.
With that, folks, that is Far Cry 3, and the game ends with Jason and his friends leaving the island. It is finally over, and we unlock the next trophy for finishing the game. What a trip. However, before we move on to the very, very controversial take that I've got for this game, it is quickly time to wrap up the couple of trophies that we've got left to get. So, onto those, and then the hatred. I'm certain that you folks are going to hate me. Now, most of the rest are collectibles and outpost related. However, the first sees us win $1,500 whilst playing poker. This was a lot of fun to get and a slight challenge, but nothing to struggle with. So when we earned our riches, we eventually unlocked Poker Bully. The next was a difficult one. It was to distract 25 enemies with rocks. Now, this one is a little bit weird, because for it to count, the enemy has to walk over, fully inspect the rock, and walk back to where they were, I think. And eventually, we unlocked Rock Always Wins. I'd just recommend to keep your mind on this one as you work your way through. Now, earlier I said that we need to liberate all outposts. Well, it's that time, and we're doing this for two reasons. Or should I say, two trophies. As the first is just for the liberation, but the second is that in every one of the safe rooms after you've liberated a base, there may be a laptop with a memory card in it, and we need all of these memory cards for another trophy. So we began grinding. It certainly took a couple of hours, but eventually we liberate every outpost in the game and unlock Island Liberator. With everyone done, we fast travel through them all and collect all of the memory cards that we needed, and without complications find the last one, also unlocking memory to spare. For Fully Inked, we also need to unlock and buy every skill in the game, as I mentioned earlier. And finally, we are at that stage because we have the final couple of skill points that we need. Once we buy the last few skills, we unlock Fully Inked as well. Only 4 trophies left now, folks, and the next 2 are also collectible related. We need to find relics and letters of the lost, so we began scouring the island for everyone that we needed. It was easier in a way, as since we were rich, we were able to buy all of the maps that just show them where they are, but unfortunately they could be a nightmare to get to, as sometimes you have to find really tiny holes in mountains or rivers to sneak through to eventually get to the cave that you need, and it can get really tedious with a couple of them. However, we spent a couple more hours farming all that we needed, and eventually it paid off, as with the final letter of the lost, we unlocked the trophy Dead Letters, and minutes later found half of all of the relics in the game and unlock Archaeology 101. The Good Stuff trophy requires us to craft a special syringe. Now, I felt certain that I'd crafted every syringe in the game, so I was confused as to why I hadn't already unlocked it. However, we were indeed one off, and for it we needed a few plants, so a couple minutes later when we had all of the ingredients, we combined them into a super special syringe and unlocked the Good Stuff. Ah, there we go, folks. The madness of this island is coming to an end. The final step has us just take a lovely stroll on the beach. When walking down and feeling the sand beneath our feet, we spot a head. Very reminiscent of how this video started. But for interacting with this poor bloke, we unlock the final trophy, Say Hi to the Internet, and with that we have mastered the jungle and the platinum is ours. Now, Far Cry 3 is a game I remembered very, very fondly when I was younger. However, would the grind change my opinion of this game as now it's over a decade old? Well, some things have changed. So let's go talk about it, as for now, the grind is over. Ah, Far Cry 3, a game I honestly was so looking forward to playing again. However, folks, I really have to be honest, I did not enjoy my time here at all, and in my opinion, the game does really not hold up well. I know that's a controversial take though, so please, if you'd let me explain. Firstly, the story. The story, in my eyes, is such a waste of potential, and my god, they made some bizarre choices here. Firstly, Vaas. Vaas, without question, is one of the greatest game villains of all time, and he carries this game like you would not believe. And that's where they went wrong, just killing him too soon. The game in my eyes should have been a massive journey about saving our friends. Just us versus Vaas trying to get our life back. Get rid of Hoyt, he's such a nothing character. The story just could have been so much more amazing if it wasn't so needlessly complicated, cliche and repetitive. I honestly believe that if Vaas wasn't in this game, it would not have done anywhere near as well as it did. He really saved this game. Oh, and I also hate Jason. He is such a whiny loser edgelord odd, and it was impossible to really connect with him because he just isn't human. On one hand, he feels terrible for killing somebody as anybody would, and 10 minutes later he's blowing up bunkers filled with them with no remorse. He's actually enjoying it, and then goes back to being his sad, depressed self again. And I don't even want to talk about Jason's plot armor, because honestly, even in a game like this, it was ridiculous that he was surviving all that he survived. But story aside, the rest of the game is also a bit of a letdown, I'm sorry. The open world is empty and horribly clunky to navigate, whether by foot or car. The enemies are boringly copy and pasted. As I said, there are only 3 things in this game you fight: animals, red or yellow enemies. And you do the same repetitive shooting from the very start of the game to the very end, just with newer guns. Nothing stands out. And the game just hasn't aged well. The controls are clunky in every department. Shooting, exploring, driving, it just doesn't feel good. Now, I know I just said a lot of negatives, but the game does have its good points as well. 3'S, of course, as I've said, is the biggest and the best. The world is beautiful, and it is really impressive to walk through if it wasn't so difficult to walk through. And lastly, the soundtrack for this game is phenomenal. With a mix of licensed and original music, it hits every note beautifully. Honestly, I think that's all of the good things that I have to say about this game. Now, honestly, I really hate not liking games, and I really hope you don't think I'm being dense on purpose, but I just really didn't enjoy this game anywhere near as much as I thought I would. And folks, if you do think I'm being a little bit meaner than normal on a game that came out over 10 years ago, please just also remember that in the same year that this released, we got Dishonored, Borderlands 2, Sleeping Dogs, and Hitman Absolution. So, like, really? Wait, what the hell? And it is a shame, but I suppose that's what happens sometimes. It's not the worst game I've ever played, don't get me wrong, but I just can't see myself ever replaying this. So on that, if we dare, let's go to the stats. For Far Cry 3, it took us just over 20 hours to collect all 44 trophies that come with the game. My rating of this game is gonna be a 5 out of 10. Absolutely everything in my eyes about this game is average. The story is average, the mechanics are average, the gameplay is average. The only 3 things that this absolutely excels at is 3'S. The graphics are honestly really, really good for their time as well. And the soundtrack. The soundtrack was fantastic. So those 3 things really, really help redeem this game. But it's as average as it gets, I think. For the difficulty of Far Cry 3, I am going to be giving this a 2 out of 10. There is absolutely nothing in this game that you should find difficult whatsoever, but nothing that you can't win within, I'd say, 20 or 30 hours. It is a really good, easy platinum for most people's lists. And on that note, I will say that the hardest achievement for me personally was the one where you throw rocks, only because it's so inconsistent about what actually counts, and it's something that you're going to be doing throughout the entire game anyway. There we go though, folks. I am genuinely really sorry that I didn't enjoy this game, and I hope that you understand the reasonings on why I didn't. I can understand that I'm going to be getting some comments, and I actually really want to hear some opinions from people who love this game. You know, nothing wrong with having a discussion on opposite sides. But that is it from me today. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe again. It really, really, really does help. And whilst you're at it, why don't you come swing by the Twitch as well, where we go for the achievement grinds live. Just come watch the suffering. Suffering's great. I struggle a lot. And of course, a massive thank you to the Patreon followers as well. You folks are the best, and I really, really do appreciate the extra support. However, once again, thank you so much for joining me in paradise. I hope you have a fantastic morning, evening, noon, or night, and I will see you all soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye for now.